our fandom is one person who shows up at exactly 8, and if we're not there, then they just assume that we're not going to be there.
They just disappear. Like, oh, I guess they're not.
Yeah, there's like a very short attention span.
Because we take forever to get to streaming, but we're only 1 minute.
That's why all the big streamers, they boot up like way too early with just like a blank screen or like a placeholder screen and just have their mic on while they're like walking around their house getting snacks.
But hey, at least tonight we're only 2 minutes late. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Peepolorians after like, 3 weeks or something? We haven't streamed for a while. Taylor was out doing stuff, and then Hero got a job at 5 in the morning, and then M has just had various exhausting things going on. So no one's really been available for streaming lately, but we're here now. We're doing some PowerWash.
We all need to take care of ourselves. Oh, hey, someone said hi. Cleaning. Yes.
Hello, person.
That's like that reminds me of was it like Danny DeVito who just posted like in all lowercase, no punctuation, just gaming. And I'm like, yeah, I feel that.
Gaming. Yes, you are correct.
Gaming. That is correct, Danny.
Yes.
Blue Jack, you gotta invite me to your group.
Oh, right, that's right. I gotta click on this stupid freaking...
There's a manual toggle, and it must be toggled manually.
Yes, but I have to select the freaking stupid level first in order to toggle it. Otherwise, it doesn't count and is dumb.
So, hey everyone, I'm Taylor. That's Lujak. We're the Peepolorians. Yeah.
We're playing PowerWash.
It's
gonna be a fun time.
Oh, hey, it's loaded in on your end.
Oh wait,
I
still did not freaking turn on the co-op. Confirm. Yes, I want to allow other people into my game. And then
now, on one hand, I appreciate that it's always like a toggle on. But on the other, I would appreciate if maybe it's because, like, I understand, like, oh, that's why people don't just randomly drop into your game. But I would make it that you can, a setting where people can drop into your game if they're on your friends list. That way it's like, oh, well, yeah, I deliberately added this person, that way they can show up.
Yeah, that should totally be a thing. I'm clicking on invite friend and it's, okay, there we are. Invite the bingo.
One time I met like a British kid who was like, and they were just like, someone just randomly messaged me and it was like a zillion o'clock and they're like, hey, you play PowerWash? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, do you want to play PowerWash? And I was like, yeah, alright.
Yeah, okay.
And
what time
and
was
they're
this?
like, oh, hey, can I use the oh wow, the game's louder than I remember setting it to. Hold on. But like they get on mic and it's like some like British kid and they're like, oh yeah, I love PowerWash Simulator. It's very cool. And I was like, oh, this is super weird. Like I wasn't expecting like a kid, and then I realized that it's a weird hour for me. It's a perfectly acceptable hour in England.
Yeah. Oh, you're
like
right.
I'm the weirdo playing this game at a zillion o'clock.
Right. You're right. This game is loud. I also need to turn it down. Why is this so loud? Or maybe I need to turn you up. Or maybe I need to turn my headset down. Okay, I'll turn my headset down a little, and then I'll turn you.
No,
up a little.
don't mess with your. Bro, don't mess with your like. Okay, well, if it's the toggle on your headset itself, but don't mess with your bass volume or whatever because it's gonna adjust your output.
Yeah.
You should adjust the volume of the game. I should be already like the right volume. I should already be the right volume, and if the game is too loud, you can turn it down from inside the game.
You're probably the right volume. You were loud when
Also,
you
I'm
popped up on your new headset, so I had to turn you down when you like originally showed up. Because you went from one headset to another, and then your volume and...
Can you talk to the next
Yeah, it was like that, basically.
Someone said, "Is this some kind of Shrek cross promotion?" Oh man, I could see that. I could see them because they've done. We'll have to showcase some of the locations because they've done crossover. What do they call it? Like they've done like levels based on Final Fantasy, Tomb Raider, and recently Warhammer 40k and SpongeBob.
Oh,
So they got quite the selection currently.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I love the idea of cleaning Shrek's place and watching him get angrier and angrier. Yeah, you're cleaning
Why would he
Shrek's
get?
swamp and he's just
I
like,
was gonna say, why would he get angrier? And then it's like, oh well, maybe it's because like you're.
Because he's an ogre and he's disgusting.
Yeah, it's just like, oh man, you're ruining the ecology of this pond. You can't clean it. I do get a giggle out of the concept of power washing these like little flower bed things. Like these have to be fake flowers because you can't just pressure wash like a bunch of soil without just blasting all of it into the stratosphere.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Which is presumably what happened before we got here.
Okay, so dude, hear me out. Hitman, but like in the Borderlands universe, because I was thinking about how like Zane in the third game is a hitman, and then I was thinking about how like 47 is a hitman, and then I was thinking about how I've never used a gun in any of the hitman levels. So I'm like, how would 47 operate in Borderlands? Like, he would do the exact same stuff, just manipulate his targets into getting themselves killed or putting them in a position for getting rid of them.
I feel like
just be in Borderlands settings, so it'd be like.
Oh well, hold on, wait, Jack. If you look over here, there's a gnome.
Wait, hold on.
He's all the way over here.
Where's the gnome?
Like firing in his general direction.
I don't know what your general direction is.
Look at what I'm firing at.
Well, I don't see you. I see a shoe. I'm at the shoe, and I see the shoe.
You're on the opposite. Go to the front door. Hey.
I'm at the front door. Okay, I see.
Look at who's firing at you, and then look where I'm firing. There's a gnome all the way out there. Like, there's a gnome sitting over here.
Oh, I see him. Oh, he is hard.
There's just, like, gnomes everywhere. Dude, there's another one!
There's two? We got multiple.
Yeah, there's one all the way over here, too, behind this rock. So, I like the idea. I personally, because I really like the Hitman games, I think we should stream them sometime. I really like the Hitman games. I really like the level design and the replayability, and I love the concept of coming up with what would make good. Oh, there's another one, or is it the same one from earlier? That's another gnome behind a rock. But I love coming up with places that would make good Hitman maps. For instance, a Wonka factory, where there's some kind of like company merger between Wonka and another guy, and they're the two targets. And there's just a zillion things that could go wrong that either could endanger them or at least like distract them.
I could see that.
Another one was Jurassic Park, where the weird part is that like there aren't really there wouldn't really be that much room in the budget for animating like dinosaurs and having them move around. So the idea is that most of the dinosaurs are sort of like off screen or behind bushes and junk. Like they don't really have full animation cycles. But there's at least one place where if you knock someone off into the bushes, that there's just like Velociraptor sounds.
Yeah. Rah!
Yeah, and what was it? I was thinking of like items like, oh, what if there's like a metal detector and one of the weapons that you could have is a Velociraptor claw, like from the first movie, and because it's a bone claw, it doesn't count as metal. That'd be kind of dumb.
But I'm trying to imagine 47 in like Borderlands because of how like vault hunters are constantly shooting things, but like imagine that, but in the background of all of that there's just 47 who's like infiltrating the Calypso's base of operations and just disguising himself and tricking her into leeching something poisonous or something.
Yeah, because like that's the thing is that I think, okay, on its face, I think that a Hitman Borderlands level would be really, really hard. Oh, also, let me get the chat open on my phone so I can see it without switching over.
Lobsopte says, I actually hit my foot with a PowerWasher stream once, and those things are no joke, by the way. I have a scar from it. Ooh, that sucks. And I think a
cruise ship would make an amazing Hitman location.
They did say that, and yeah, I could see that.
Jack.
What?
I'm already responding to what they said.
Dude, I was already reading it before you even interrupted me, and now you're yelling at me for interrupting you for reading the thing that I was already reading. Shut up!
Okay.
Proceed with what you were gonna say.
Right. On its face, I think like Borderlands normally wouldn't work because it's normally like very loud combat and such. But I could totally see getting around that where it's a Hitman level, and there are countless Hitman levels that are specifically like, here's the boss of some kind of like militant group, and you need to sneak in somehow. And so I'm imagining like, oh yeah, you can unlock a you can both have and maybe have an unlockable default Hitman Bandit looking skin would be kind of funny.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I could see that.
There'd be like a trap of some kind. Like here's one thing I would love this would be a unique feature of this map where one of the characters you could give them like a some kind of rage effect where they would start attacking. They would start attacking other like bandits and stuff, and so it would still count against your points, but it would count as like a distraction. So it'd be one of the more loud, but somehow still stealthy like approaches.
Yeah, I could see that. That'd be cool.
Oh, there's got to be something like the drug cartel thing where someone has like a large dangerous pet that you can toss them into like a cage.
Oh yeah,
like
you
with
would
the hippo.
Yeah, you would definitely be getting lots of like animal type kills and like a Borderlands level for Hitman. Skags, like Skags would be.
Oh, you gotta have
for sure. You gotta have
environmental poisons like in South America.
Oh, yeah.
You know how in the South America map, yeah, there's a bunch of like environment poisons you can get from the environment, something like that, but with the weird like bug creature larva, where it's like, oh, this counts as a what's it called? It's a thing that makes you all nauseous. Emetic, yeah. Like, oh, this is counts as an emetic poison. Like, and that's the thing is that sometimes getting a good Hitman map is about like how you can approach from multiple directions and using different methods.
In the very last level of Hitman, you have the ability to assassinate someone by cutting up a poisonous pufferfish, and it's at this point that I'm just like, I've yet to poison someone's food in this game. Yeah, I'll do a pufferfish.
Oh, that would be funny if like if this was part of like a campaign, like a Patient Zero where there's multiple levels or something. I would love if one of the challenges is to make sure that one bandit doesn't die, and that he's just because like that would mix more with the was it like the Borderlands style like dark humor where like there's like one bandit and he's like really tired. Somehow he got into a bunch of money, but he knows he can't get away with the money with the bandit king still alive. And he's like, I'm gonna hire a hitman, and his two main goals are to kill this guy and make sure that I get out alive. Otherwise, he's not getting paid.
Oh, dude, that would be an amazing level.
And so you have to like constantly. So throughout the level, you have to figure out like who's out to get him, and like distract them in one way or another, so he can like get off the premises.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
Because that's one of the things that are in some rare Hitman levels, but aren't very standard. Like assassination is the main one, but sometimes it's like you need to get a specific item and leave with it, and have it on your person when you leave.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's this one person can't be harmed, or they can't even be knocked out or poisoned.
Right.
Man, I want to play Hitman after this.
Man, I have been
a little nuts about it.
I
but
have been enjoying Hitman. My ADHD has me going between so many different games right now, and I haven't finished any of them thus far, which is why I'm trying to stop Hitman because I need to get back to Shantae. I need to finish Shantae. Then I need to play Desert Child. Then I need to get back to Hollow Knight. Then I need to get back to Death Stranding. Then I need to get back to Ni no Kuni. Like, I don't have time for Hitman right now, but it's on sale.
Bob said, like, pretending to be a psycho, and I'm like, oh! Lujak, just, like, you get into the psycho outfit, and it's barely an outfit, because it's got, like shorts or whatever, and maybe some shoes, and then, like, you're shirtless or whatever. But like one of the things is like, I bet you can't hit that target, and of course it's Hitman, so you're always 100% accurate with your throws. But like that would be really fun because there's hardly ever a puzzle or whatever that's solved by throwing something at something. Like, well, it's part of the game mechanic, so the player will understand it pretty quickly, but it's not the way that you interact with things. Like, you don't like open doors by throwing an axe at a button or something. But
Right,
that's definitely
right.
something I would have in the level, especially because that's something that Borderlands would do.
Oh yeah, Borderlands would 100%
We
do
designed
that.
these bulletproof buttons that activate when you shoot them, because of course we would.
Because of course we would. If any game had that, it would be Borderlands for sure. I could totally see that.
I'm trying to think. I was thinking, oh, what about like an Uncharted level? And it's like I feel like you're only a little bit separated from that. I mean, heck, it would be a little too on the nose because there is a character in Hitman. Are you on the ladder or on the? Okay,
Oh, I'm on
I
the
was gonna
roof.
wait
I'm on
until
the
you were
roof.
off the. I was gonna wait until you were off the platform before moving it.
Okay, thanks. I appreciate that.
There's actually a guy named like Blake Nathaniel who wears a whole bunch of beige and was like a Tomb Explorer guy.
Oh, neat.
You meet him on the he's specifically on the level to the Ark Society, the one that's like the Isle of Wight. It's like in Svalbard, and it's all icy outside. But then there's like this huge castle.
Yeah, that'd be neat. I
Man,
gotta.
the set pieces in Hitman are just so cool.
They really are. I gotta play the classic Hitman games because here's the thing about Hitman. When I played the World of Assassination, I was very confused because a lot of people were talking as if there was continuity to this trilogy, and there is. So I went back
Oh
and
yeah,
I
no. The
watched,
actual trilogy is 100% like it picks up where exactly where it leaves off.
which is amazing, but it also means a lot of the stuff, big reveals, don't hit as hard. So like when Subject 6, when Lucas Gray showed up and like was revealed to be his friend from the childhood, I was like, okay, I understand the backstory that you're giving me, but I don't feel it as much because I haven't experienced the other games. So I went and I like watched a whole timeline video about
Oh, did you
Hitman
not start at
and like
one?
no, I started at the first game of the World of Assassination trilogy, but because I haven't played any of the classic games, I don't know about Ortmeyer. I don't know about like
Oh, I didn't know
47's
about them
attempts to
either. I just
escape. I didn't know about like any of the history that had existed here. So when Lucas Gray showed up and was revealed to be this long lost
actually,
childhood friend that you like start out trying to escape with, it didn't hit me the same way because I didn't have the context of all that. I was like, yes, I understand
who
the
would have thought that a
backstory.
guy named 47 had? There were other people of that program, possibly 46 of them.
Well, it's way more messed up than you realize because
Yeah.
these two tried to escape several times, but like eventually 47 was able to help 6 escape. That's his name, 6, Lucas Gray 6. But
Yeah.
6 managed to escape, 47 didn't, but then his like memory of 6 was erased, and I think it was replaced with memories of 6 being like his tormentor and 47 having killed him or something. And 6 was presumed
I
dead
didn't
for
think
whatever
that.
reason. So when Lucas Gray
I
like restored
think
his
you're getting your
memories,
multiverses crossed because in
is that
the
not
World
what
of
happened?
Assassination,
Is that
no,
not
in
what
the World of
happened?
Assassination, the reason why, well, he did have bits of his memory and stuff erased, um, but the main reason why you're fighting Lucas Gray is because you don't know he has any relation to you because, well, the memory thing.
Well, yeah.
And your only knowledge of him comes from his maneuverings in sabotaging the what's it called? The like basically assassin society, and that's what I really like the build up of is that like I love when a game is like so wide that like you go from like finding targets for the for the sort of like society of assassins or what have you, um, to being like, oh hey, wait a minute, we're starting to pick up contracts that uh, your handler is like, hey, we have contracts that'll do exactly what we need to do in sabotaging whoever's really behind all this shenanigans.
Yeah, but the point that I was getting at is that a lot of the big reveals don't hit the same way without that background information. Like when they bring up Ortmeyer and him being Providence, that meant nothing to me until I learned that Ortmeyer was the guy who cloned everyone. And also the fact
You,
that the
you
reason
know,
that
you're
47 seems to be the only like clone that still exists from there is because all of the other ones who they attempted to erase the memories of, like, died from the memory drug. And 47 is like one of the few
that makes
clones who
sense.
didn't. That's why you don't like see other clones around.
Yeah.
But
It's funny
it's
because I remember learning a bit about Hitman lore, and at least just with some of the like levels and stuff. But what's funny is that like I remember I didn't extensively play a bunch of the other. Oh, I put this backwards. Um, I didn't actually play the other games. I had seen some like reviews and stuff of like Absolution in particular. And so, from my perspective, I was like, "Oh, I get how this is important because it was set up in this game."
yeah. But I am a big lore person, and lore is what really keeps me invested in a game. So when I show up in World of
Oh
Assassinations,
yeah,
yes, I'm enjoying the stages, but I'm not really enjoying the story because I don't have the background of the original games. I'm enjoying the story now on my playthrough
ah,
because it's still good, but the point that I was trying to get at it is that it's more the first time I played the World of Assassination, I did it with no background knowledge to Hitman's history or who he was, which is why the
you did start
Ortmeyer
at
big
one, right?
I didn't Dude, you keep talking about the World of Assassination trilogy. I'm talking about the classic games that give us all the background information of, like, what,
Ah,
47. I am talking about the original games where you meet
ah,
Subject 6 and you see Ortmeyer and you kill Ortmeyer and Ortmeyer is the guy who
ah.
made you. So what I'm saying is that in the World of Assassination trilogy, when Diana Burnwood goes, Ortmeyer was Providence, my reaction was, I'm not even going to ask who that is nor remember that because I don't know that name. And
I
it just sounds
assume.
like another background name that seems important but doesn't really matter in the big picture. Oh, it matters a lot because he's your freaking dad. So the point that I'm getting at
Clone
is that the
by.
reason why the story of the World of Assassination was more difficult for me to really get into or appreciate as much
Ah,
is because I do not have that background knowledge. And when I say background knowledge, I am not talking about the first World of Assassination trilogy. I'm talking about everything
ah,
before that.
ah,
That's what the whole conversation was about. The point I was getting that was
ah.
not that you should start at the first of the World Assassination trilogy. My point is that without the background of the games that came before it, the World of Assassination moments and a lot of the big reveals don't hit the same way. Like Ortmeyer was
I guess
Providence,
I'm
that means
just
nothing to me.
yes.
Who's Ortmeyer?
Yeah,
It's
you just said it.
yeah, I know, but it's the biggest example I can think of right now. And
I
like the whole
guess
memory thing in
it's hard for me
6.
to because I don't know exactly how much information I had going in, and I don't know if it's that I had some amount of meta knowledge, or if I was just kind of putting the general stuff together.
Well, yeah.
Because I knew that Hitman was some kind of clone,
Well, yeah.
and
But
you can
that's
kind of figure that out
yeah.
from how he's built different.
Yeah, but that's why I had a hard time getting into the actual assassination, into the actual story of the World Assassination trilogy. Because as much as I enjoyed playing the games, my heart wasn't as in it because there was all this like
Uh,
lore being dropped that means a lot more to people who played the older games. And since I wasn't one of those
uh,
people, it didn't mean as much to me, which is why my jaw didn't hit the floor when
well,
Lucas
now you
Gray
probably
was
know
like,
more about it than I do.
well, yeah, probably. But that's why my jaw didn't drop when Lucas Gray started telling the story about we ran away when we were boys, came across a third poor community, they were all
Uh,
shot up the next morning. See, if you'd heard that story being told with the knowledge of the background names, you would have been like, oh my god, it's six, it's subject six, that's six for the child, he escaped sixes, that he's a good guy.
I don't know. I
Probably.
don't know about you, but when I heard that, it made sense because it was well written and they had good acting. I was like, ah, yes, I understand from the context.
I mean, I
We're at
understand
like
for the
90. We're
context. The
missing.
point that I was getting at is that
Uh,
I couldn't appreciate the story as much because I didn't know
uh,
about all the stuff up until then. Look, man, I
uh,
think you and I have a different approach when it comes to lore. What I'm getting at is that the World of Assassination trilogy didn't mean as much to me because I didn't have all the lore for it. What
uh,
you're saying is that the lore doesn't matter.
and
For
I
me, it
knew.
does.
Uh,
That's why the
See,
World
I
of
knew a
Assassination
little bit
doesn't mean
about
as much to me as it does to you.
and I knew a little bit about the overarching lore, but the difference is that I figured that everything was basically a soft reboot. That most of it isn't quite canon,
No, from what I
and that only
understand, it's very much not a reboot of any kind. It's just
well, as
literally
in
just.
it's what I mean is like World of Assassination has like a soft canon with the previous games, where they sort of represent bits and pieces. Like, for instance, one of the targets from one of the early games, who has like a funky pickle halba hat, is on Lucas Gray's like conspiracy board,
Oh.
and it's like, and everyone's like, "Oh, hey, wait a minute! That means that at least this particular guy is canon."
I think all of the stuff that happens
We're
is
missing
supposed to be
some.
canon. Maybe my guess is that it's mostly canon. If there's anything they decided would didn't necessarily have to be, then it would show up in some sort of Easter egg form, and it's something that didn't really matter that much. But my understanding is that everything that happened up until the World of Assassination trilogy
Yeah,
is canon, as far as my understanding goes. Because that game
using a
takes
glass
place
cleaner.
after Absolution. And by this point, ICA has already been
Although,
infiltrated multiple
I
times, and Diana has and 47 have like fixed it multiple times. They even mentioned that before when they're like, ICA can't be compromised, and 47's like, it's happened before.
I didn't
So
think
like,
about that
yeah, the
line.
overall Hitman history, as from what I understand, is canon. Like Ortmeyer is canon, Subject 6 is canon, the story, their history is canon. My understanding is that all of that stuff is canon.
What is There's a window frame that we haven't
I
gotten. All right, I think I get that. Plus,
that's that.
so, and also, Lob hopped off. Talking about the stage during the zombie invasion. You can't let the target get bitten. I mean, the closest we got to that was the Subject Zero, where ideally you try to keep the infection from spreading. And I narrowed it down to like a single. What's it called? I narrowed it down to a single vector. There's a nurse who goes down the stairs, who is not wearing like a hazmat suit, and she gets just close enough when the patient goes by to catch his sickness.
Oh, that's neat. That's one I want to do.
Yeah, which is why the I consider there to be like sort of two canon ways of doing that level, because if you knock out the nurse, if you knock out the nurse, maybe if you knock out the nurse with like a sedative, they won't notice. But normally, if you knock out the nurse normally, then someone will find her, but by then you'll be like exiting the area.
Right.
But if they find her, then it doesn't count as a silent assassin
Hmm.
because it'll count as a body found.
That makes sense, I
And I am not
guess.
finding this window frame, and the which boot wall
Yeah, there
is
are lots of
unclean.
boot walls, dude. You gotta be more
Could you be
specific.
more? Yeah, could you be more specific?
There's a lot of
Boot
walls in this
wall.
boot. Oh, wait, here's boot wall.
You know why this place was so dirty, though?
BT action? BT activity?
Nah, just too many kids.
Probably.
She just has so many kids. She doesn't know what to do.
I, it's just Daffy Duck from the Looney Tunes show. How many kids do you have to have before you feel like you've got a family?
Oh, right, because he's heckling a school. He's heckling
Yeah.
a school bus, which is like, oh man,
It's just a
that's.
school bus.
It wouldn't be funny if it wasn't him completely misjudging a school bus. Like, hey, how many kids did you have to have?
Dude,
Jeez, and it's just a school bus.
it's just a school bus. No, you're old. But dude, that shot of Daffy shooting a gun off of a chopper, yelling, "No, you're old" to Bugs, and just screaming.
There's one boot wall left, and
It
yes,
was the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
I think the reason why that's one of my favorite episodes is because of the escalation. It's what I call a Zombo style plot, where if you start here, if you pick up on the final bit, it'd be like, oh yeah, so it ends with a U.S. Marines raid in Albania, and you'd be like, Why? And you have to lead up. You have to explain all of how you got there. And
see,
I
that's
know it's got to be this panel. It's got to be this
that's the thing
panel,
that I
but
love
it's.
about the Looney Tunes show is that, yeah, I'm not finding it either because there's a wall and there's okay, you
There we go.
found it.
I got it. I just had to get the
I
bottom.
got part of
And
it
let's.
over here, but I thought
Oh no, I got
I
the
didn't
boot
see the
wall.
rest
Now I'm
of it.
looking for. We're
Oh,
looking for
for
window
the window
frame.
frame. But yeah, the thing I love about the Looney Tunes show is that it pretty much starts out with you going, okay, how are these two plots gonna
Oh,
connect? And then the end of each episode is just that you might be wondering how I got here scene, but like at the end.
so Jack, it's the one on the tip of the toe here. You want to do it?
Sure. Coming up.
But
And
yeah, I got a soft spot
haha.
for the Hitman franchise because it's just got very big chunky levels with a lot going on and a lot of little lore bits that you can sort of read into, and it's just there's a real sense of place.
Yeah, it's very good. Very
And
fucking
every
good.
time I think I know all the little bits, there's like some extra bit that I somehow didn't know about.
Yeah. Well, you'd know more if you knew about the background lore.
Did we? Wow, we actually finished this in a half hour. That
Yeah.
feels weird.
It's awesome. Job complete. Open the tablet for me. Okay.
We did it. We cleaned the
Locations.
shoe.
We did
Don't
it.
go
We
stepping in
cleaned the
any
shoe.
puddles.
Okay, so I think. Oh wait, that means we're all
Wait,
done
Blue
in
Jack, Blue
the
Jack,
free to play ones.
Blue Jack, look at this. What is wrong with this picture?
What?
Of all the surfaces that react to water in
Well,
the game, the sandbox does not react to water. The pails do. You can spray the pails around. This
that's
is beyond the pail.
weird. Beyond the
This is
blue
beyond the
pails.
pail.
Beyond the blue and yellow pails. Okay, career, continue. We're gonna. Oh, the fire station is currently in progress. I guess we'll
I
just
just
go back
want.
to it.
I had my dumb reaction. My reaction to hearing that IOI wasn't going to make more Hitman games, and their next thing was working on a what is that, 007 game. My reaction to that was, oh, I hope they start it and it's like, hi, I'm 007. I was created in a lab in Romania. Like, just like no like subtext. It's just more Hitman.
It's just more Hitman. I'd be done with that. Could always use more Hitman.
Either that or and my other hope is that they hit just the right balance between like modern spy thriller where it's like, oh hey, this isn't about the Cold War anymore. It's about like information technology and people moving bitcoins to various like dictators or whatever, like that sort of thing. But I hope it retains just the right balance of modern spy genre and occasionally having a bit of Silver Age shenanigans where like you still have tools, but like you've got like, I don't know, a laser in your shoe or something. You can like cut glass to get through.
Crazy. That'd be cool.
It would be funny if it
Oh wait,
wasn't
are
a
you in that
single
level?
thing.
You're not in this level, are you?
I'm not in the level. No, you have to invite me to the level.
No, you get
Do not ask me about the mushrooms. I cannot tell you about the mushrooms.
Mushroom Man. I've
Why
come
am I
for
so
mushrooms.
hungry
I
today?
need your mushrooms for Mario powers.
You gotta unlock your mushrooms, Micah.
You gotta unlock your mushroom
You got a mind for Micah, Micah.
You got a mind for Michael Myers, Micah Myers.
Micah, like the no, Mike, Mike. Oh, sorry, my laptop almost fell over.
Wait,
I
is
put it somewhere
Micah mineral?
precarious for a second. Yeah, Mica, just MICA. It's found in all over Arizona in tiny amounts. It's what causes that little sparkle in sand.
I invited you to the level. Did you not join?
Apparently, I did not.
Co-op mode
There,
is
okay, there we go.
on. I'm just here.
Where was the kaboom?
There was supposed to be an earth-shattering kaboom.
I was looking through the Looney Tunes meet DC, and there's one of Marvin the Martian, and he's still got the same like face where it's just completely dark, but with his eyes. But his helmet has all these little like details on it that make it look really neat. And he's surrounded by those little black dots. That's called the Kirby Crackle, and I'm just like, where's the Kirby Crackle? There was supposed to be an earth-shattering Kirby Crackle.
Dude, what if there was like a Hitman character in the Looney Tunes show and his whole bit was trying to kill Bugs because he had a contract on him? But he kept failing because Bugs is a Looney Tune.
Look, if there was going to be something like that, obviously it would be a Tom and Jerry bit.
Yes.
Like, right?
Yeah, I could see that.
I'm a Martian! Boom shakalaka. Me sending a screenshot. Like, what is it about Looney Tunes where it'll just randomly, for just no good reason, just make a random background character, like an absolute baddie, for no reason.
Yeah, the whole time Sam is singing his song about blowing his stack, and then they start talking to him, or he starts talking to them.
Yeah, oh no, it's the music, it's become diegetic. Wait, hold on, am I...
Sorry, Sam.
Can I only use... Oh no, I can only use these two, Wait, hold on. What about the soap? Soap? The soap. The soap? No, I ain't got no soap, and I'm using the bad sprayer. This is gonna take a while. Whoa, hello. Sorry.
Taylor.
You gotta warn me for you.
Taylor. Three baddies showed up and messed with Yosemite Sam. You could say they really made him blow his stack.
Yes, you could. Maybe that's the plan.
Maybe that's the plan.
He's gonna go kablam.
He's gonna go kablam. Sorry, Sam, that's what happened.
Man.
And I blow my stack.
Boom shakalaka. Just me sending a screenshot of like a pinup Martian or whatever, and it's just like, hear me out.
Just some random hot Martian lady for no reason.
As in the, but not the one you're thinking of. A different one. Not to be confused with the Martian Queen from what was it, Duck Dodgers.
I didn't even know that existed. I remember watching Duck Dodgers and enjoying it, but I remember nothing from it.
So you do know it's a thing.
Yeah.
Well, there was a Martian Queen, and unlike Marvin the Martian, who is like a cartoony little guy, and it's his birthday, the Martian Queen was built like a woman, like an actual humanoid, like proportioned like a person, except that she's completely like Evan Black with just the eyes, and and I was always wondering, and it confirmed my suspicions when Duck Dodgers himself, and I quote, "You're pretty hot for a chick without a face." And I was like, "Oh, okay, it's not a shadow effect. They literally just have like a flat void for a face."
Yeah, for some reason.
I always assumed it was like a shadow effect, like they were all just hiding behind something.
Probably. Would you get on the Look, man, I have been playing Borderlands, and Borderlands has actually good ladder physics, and going from Borderlands ladder physics to PowerWash ladder physics makes me depressed and angry.
I had a realization where like sometimes you got to take inspiration from your favorite video games, and I was thinking I should build it into a tabletop game that, especially a game like GURPS where like you take a lot of damage. Like, you could probably fix the lethality of GURPS by making it that instead of dying, you're, like, just sort of crawling around, but if you manage to kill another opponent, then you get back up.
Oh, yeah, I love that gimmick in Borderlands.
Because, like, that makes it really, really works in Borderlands.
Dude, okay, look.
Watch your head.
Krieg is
I'm getting this angle.
Okay, fine.
Oh.
But Krieg is one of my absolute favorite characters, and it is because of his whole gimmick of basically converting damage into power. Because, like, if you build into a melee Krieg, you basically unlock, like, a badass transformation, and the way that works is that when you're low health, you transform and you become a badass psycho. All of your health comes back, and there is no cooldown for your action skill. Instead of waiting for it to cool
Ah.
down, you just have to wait for your health to get low. So Krieg, so I basically built Krieg to just operate on a cycle of like it almost dying and then get coming back to life,
And then I died,
basically.
but I
And then I
lived.
died, but I lived.
I forgot what those guys are called. The ones that like there's that one enemy type that I think was really cool, but they're also super weird in kind of a body horror way. Where
Is it the one where the heads come
they
off and then there's just like a weird
yeah
tentacle that comes out? I can't
yeah
remember
they
what
have
they're
like a
called.
little like skull mask thing, and then if you shoot their head off, then like their like brain is still like on the stem is just piloting them, and they get like big and incredible bulky.
It is the weirdest thing. Do you think they are able to like fix that? Like if they
I don't think that that's.
survive?
I think that's part of the horror aspect of it. Is that the assumption is that like they're really useful specifically because they can survive that first hit and counterattack whatever attacks them. But like they probably die like a few minutes after that. As soon as their like adrenaline turns off, they just fall over,
You know,
disintegrate.
One of my favorite thing about Borderlands is that it's kind of a situation of it's more horrifying the more I think about it, but because it's Borderlands, it like makes sense. Like, I had a like a realization about Borderlands the other day. It's a lot like Star Wars in the sense that like yeah, you see kids with like weapons and stuff. People like Gage and Tiny Tina exist, but like their existence makes sense in a galaxy or universe that's so messed up and twisted and just have all kinds of horrors. So of course you would have a kid with a weapon that you would be training them to use and making sure they were able to protect themselves. You have to in this universe. It's not
Just
like these are peaceful
Jack,
times where you can just be secure.
I'm just imagining it's just like a team adventures and there's Claptrap and Claptrap's like, watch out! It's like that kid's got a gun. And they're like and they have poor trigger discipline. Hold on, we gotta go teach that kid.
Hold on, no, we gotta teach this kid to shoot or they'll get themselves killed. Or get killed by someone else.
Oh yeah, just proper. That's got to be the thing. It's just everyone has to. You gotta learn proper firearm usage.
You need to be able to shoot in Star Wars or Borderlands.
You either
Otherwise,
live long enough. You either live long enough to learn trigger usage, or you die a bandit.
or you die a bandit.
You never learn how to reload. Well, we have a weapon that is belt fed. Here you go. That's why the bandit weapons exist.
Here's a COV weapon, don't even worry about
Or
it.
what were they called? Oh yeah, the Children of the Vault COV weapons.
Yeah,
I keep calling them just bandit weapons, but
yeah,
that's
no,
different.
bandit. See, that is different because that's in the second game, not the third game.
Hold on.
I
I'm
like
getting
the evolution
the
of those
roof.
types of weapons though, because like I like the lore to it. The lore to it is that like so
The what?
SNS the lore behind like the COV and bandit weapons and the way they've evolved since the first game is actually really neat. Cause like it started out with a
Yeah.
group called S&S Munitions. They were the guys in the first game, and their whole thing was just have guns and bullet all the time, make them never run out. And it was very primitive because it also meant crazy reload times. By the time you get to the third game, you just cool off the weapon after it reheats. So, big evolution. But eventually, the S&S munitions guys went out of business and became S&S accessories, I think, and started making other stuff. And the reason that happened was because the way they were putting
Can
the
you speak
guns
up a little bit?
together. No, because there is a kid sleeping and I'm trying not to wake him. Um,
Oh,
but they're fuck, what was I saying? I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah,
SNS
the
accessories.
SNS. So basically, the way that they put the weapons together, the bandits eventually realized, oh wait, this is easy, and we're smart enough to do this by ourselves. We don't really need to rely on SNS. So they just started, like, making SNS weapons, but like better. And that's what they are in the second game. In the second game, they basically realized they can just make S&S weapon type things specifically, so they just did that but better. So by the time the third game comes around, then they become the Children of the Vault. They're the COV weapons now because they're all the Children of the Vault, and they've evolved to a point where you just don't reload them at all. Instead, they just come with like a cooldown gadget that you put on them when you shoot them too much.
Which makes them more like Star Wars blasters when you think about it.
Yeah,
Like
it
the
does.
blaster pistols.
Yeah.
Blaster pistols were kind of a neat mechanic because I like the concept of instead of like Left 4 Dead where you have a sidearm that reloads but it has unlimited ammo. It's just that it has pretty balanced stats. I like the concept of like, oh, this has like good stats and unlimited ammo, but it does have to like cool off. So how much ammo you get per cooldown is just how fast you're shooting it.
Right.
Which means that like its ammo, its effective magazine is also dictated by its rate of fire, which is neat. It's like a built-in gun balance.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff.
And and then I always get excited when what the heck? Someone hit this thing diagonally, so there's this one streak of clean.
Well, it was probably me, given that this is my game file.
It was me. Who ate my candy?
It was me. Who ate my candy?
It was me.
It was me.
Oh, it was my train of thought. I always get super excited. I would always get super excited in Borderlands 3. Oh no, this has rust. Whenever I get a Vladov weapon that has the like the triple barrel, because I know it's gonna be good.
Oh yeah. I like the Jacobs weapons. I'm a big Jacobs person, especially the pistols and the shotguns. Well, really anything Jacobs, but there's something about just a revolver, you know? Just like a mega powerful Jacobs.
Yeah, where that's just the fun thing is like you're just traveling around with a big iron on your hip.
Just a big iron on your hip.
Plus the game is like. Plus the game itself like knows. I mean, with the exception of poorly balanced like PDR weapons, the game mostly knows how to keep itself balanced. So when you do have,
okay, all right, well, do. Yeah, okay. Sorry about that. My sister was talking to me. Continue.
Okay. She knows you're streaming, right?
Yeah, but it was important, and she can interrupt for important things.
Okay. Oh, the what was it the like having a big iron on your hip, and the thing is that like, yeah, I know just enough about firearms to be like, oh, this is kind of a goofy build, but because it's all in the service of having like still having balance, all of the weapons that would be kind of goofy to have, like a revolver or whatever, work out to where like, oh, you if you have a revolver, then the reload animation is almost always like a speed loader. You always have a speed loader, and the reload animations are really, really fast.
Right.
So you're just assumed to be like crazy proficient.
Yeah, well, that's actually why I like all the different like weapon manufacturing companies in Borderlands, because like each of them knows that they have to have a gimmick in order to like stay relative, and that's why the that's why the balance exists, because they're like, okay, so TDR's like, our weapons are gonna be cheap, which means they're gonna be a little crappier. How do we like make that not a terrible thing? Well, what if we just make it so that they explode because of how disposable they are, and then you just destruct a new one? Oh, that's cool. You can like kill people by reloading. That's neat. And then you have Jacobs over there, who's just like, if it took more than one shot, you weren't using a Jacobs. And it's just every company has their own basic standards. And
which also gets pretty funny with certain weapon types, because like, well, it also gets funny with certain weapon types because like for instance, like a Jacob sniper rifle or handgun makes a lot of sense, but then like if you have like a Jacob's assault rifle, all of their like SMGs are these weird like steampunk contraptions.
Yeah, and a lot of times it's not auto fire; it's just like a shotgun, but an assault rifle form. So you're just, but like,
yeah, like they have to like get around it. But the same thing with, I love the how like Doll DAHL, their whole thing. Hold on. Hey, it's too loud. Sorry. Apparently they forgot that I was recording. No, Doll DAHL. They're for those who don't know, they're generally like, I like how their aesthetic is just like actual military weapon, like just like a Glock or something, like just a very basic like shapes, and that's also their gimmick, is that they're just accurate and have low recoil. And I'm like, oh, that's neat. And then a lot of their upgrade things are like, oh, this is a weapon that when you're looking at the sights goes from full auto to burst fire, or goes from burst fire to single shot. I'm like, that's really cool.
That is neat.
But like, and that works with like every weapon type except maybe like a rocket launcher where you don't really need recoil control. But but then you look at like things that would be opposites, like Vladov and sniper rifles, where Vladov sniper rifles are just a little goofy because it's like, how do we balance the stats on this? It's a sniper rifle, but Vladov's whole thing is high rates of fire, so we end up making it like, I don't know, it shoots really fast and has lower damage.
Just a really fast sniper
because
rifle.
because it uses sniper rifle ammo, you're never gonna have enough to like feed that beast.
Yeah.
So it's just really hard to actually keep your pockets full.
Hold on, what is Atlas's gimmick?
Which one?
Atlas, what is their gimmick? Can't think
If
of
I
it
recall
right now.
correctly, one of the main Atlas gimmicks is that they had lock-on weapons, which is really neat as a gimmick.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to pull off. I remember that in the late game, I would always try to keep a one Atlas weapon specifically for hitting people on vehicles, or like those really small bat things.
Oh yeah. Oh man, I hate those.
And that's just because like anything that was really hard to hit, anything that was particularly hard to hit, I'm just like, nah, I'm gonna use an actual tracking weapon.
Right.
I think they had another gimmick in there somewhere where maybe it had like a force field while you were holding the weapon or something, but it's not coming to me.
You know, it sucks that Roland died before Reese got a hold of the Atlas Corporation, because, like, it fell into Jack's hands. Like, after the first game, Atlas went under, and...
A real Jack or, like, a fake Jack?
Handsome Jack. Real Jack. Real Jack, like, basically bought out Atlas after the events of the first game because they were, like, ruined after the first game. But it kind of sucks that Roland...
I'll never financially recover from this.
Yeah, except they did, because in the Tales from the Borderlands game, Reese ends up coming across the deed for the Atlas Corporation, and he just takes it and he makes it its own company, and he just rebuilds it from the ground up. And I love the bit of lore that they kept his horrible fashion sense with him tucking his tie into his belt, because there's an echo log where Marcus is talking about... Yeah, that's the thing that he does, and it's dumb. But, like, there's an echo log where that Marcus has, where he talks about how Reese came into his shop once and talked about, like, doing a sort of partnership thing, because he was trying to get the Atlas company up and running. And Marcus, being a smart businessman who didn't realize how much of a gifted businessman and Reese was, having the capabilities to make Atlas a good company again, was like, aha, what, with Atlas? No, you'd have to be a real genius to pull that company out of the dirt. He was, and he did, and Marcus came back later and was like, you still want to be partners?
Mr. Miyamoto, I trust your company isn't selling playing cards. That's too deep of a deep cut. Hold on.
No, I didn't get that, but it sounds really funny.
Shigeru Miyamoto, the guy who made most of the Nintendo franchises that you can recognize, not including Metroid.
Really?
But yeah, not including Metroid. But I think he came up with a lot of your Jumpman, your Donkey Kong, your Mario's. But when he showed up, Nintendo was still kind of not quite a gaming company, where arcades were about to be a thing, and they're like, hey, we make like playing cards, and maybe we'll make like household toys or something. I don't know. And he's like, what about arcade games? What if we make an arcade game? And this is like making arcade... Whoa, sorry, I got a pop-up thing. And so like they got into making arcade games, and that kind of took off, and they made a lot of money.
Oh, damn. What's going on? Hold on, my cat's being weird. What's up with your mouth? Are you coughing up a hairball right now? Well, I think she's coughing up a hairball, but it's like, okay, what is going on? Alright, well, I will be right back. You continue cleaning, entertain the audience.
Alright. But yeah, I did like a project on him at some point, where I learned about Shigeru Miyamoto, and he really liked wandering around the Japan countryside and just picking up frogs and stuff, which is why the Mario games will just have like. There is something funny about the concept of like, what's the word? The concept of like uh, turtles and stuff. Just that's just things that he just liked. So when you think about it, there's something very charming about it. How it's like, here's Mario, and he runs around the sewers and pipes and caves, and he steps on mushrooms and turtles. It's like, oh, how'd you come up with that? Well, when I was a kid, I ran around the drain pipes and picked up mushrooms and turtles. I wasn't stepping on them, but you have to assume that Shigeru Miyamoto wasn't running around stomping turds.
Yeah. That would be very horrible.
No, dude, screenshot of someone's essay that just says that where they're like, it's like Mario running around stomping turds, and it just has like the editing red pen underline, and they're just like stomping turds, and it comes up later, and they're like, please don't say stomping turds.
Oh, dude, wait, hold on. No, wait. Before I forget again, there was a point that I was trying to make with the Atlas Corporation stuff. Point that I was
you'd have to be a real genius.
Yeah, no, but the original point that I was trying to make was it's a shame Roland died before he could, like, meet Reese and see what good he did for the Atlas Company, because when Roland died, Atlas was one of the most terrible companies, responsible for some of the most heinous acts, responsible for a bunch of what happened in they were the main antagonists, and they were just awful and corrupt and evil. And that is the Atlas that Roland died knowing about. So it really sucks that
he never got the...
He didn't get to see Reese salvage Atlas and, like, turn it into a good company that, like, cares about people with Zero working in it. Like, the fact that Zero just left the Crimson
Raiders...
You say
with Zero working in it, and I just imagine, like, oh, so no one's working there? Yeah, it's all automated. That's the great thing about Atlas. It's all homing technology.
Of course it is. No, but I absolutely love the fact that after the events of Tales from the Borderlands, Zero was like, Reese is cool. I'm gonna go hang out with him. And he basically just become, like, Reese's employee. Like, he left the Crimson Raiders to, like, be Reese's...
Oh, yeah.
Like,
didn't the Crimson Raiders, like, rebrand?
No, they're still just the Crimson Raiders. What
were they before that?
They weren't anything before that.
I thought it was a Crimson something.
No. Well, you stop interrupting and let me explain it.
Sorry.
I keep trying to explain it, and you keep going, but I thought it was.
So let me tell you that. Okay.
No, it was, the Crimson Raiders, the name was inspired by the Crimson Lance group that Roland worked for back in Atlas. Crimson Raiders is made up of a bunch of, like, former Atlas military people who got left behind, and, you know, just a bunch of other people who aren't military but, like, want to fight or whatever. So Roland basically took a bunch of Atlas's former Crimson Lance specialists and was like, hey, Atlas abandoned you. They kind of suck, right? And Jack's messing up the planet. What if we did something about that? And that's how he ended up, he founded the Crimson Raiders that way. So basically, Crimson Raiders is what the Crimson Lance people became after Atlas abandoned them, and it's what Roland formed them into because he was originally Atlas.
It is clean.
It is clean. So, yeah.
If you have soap, I recommend using metal soap on the rust.
So,
that's the toughest stuff in the game.
Oh, but yeah, so in the sense that a lot of Atlas Crimson Raider people...
I don't have soap, though.
Bruh, can you stop interrupting, please?
Sorry.
But in the sense that Crimson Raiders are made up of people who are made up of a bunch of people who were originally Crimson Lance people, yes, they were that before, but Crimson Raiders is not a rebranding of Crimson Lance. It is a
it's just a name
to fight against the Crimson Lance. Not against the Crimson Lance specifically, because they were already washed out by that point, but mostly against Jack. Because he was the one causing a bunch of... Yeah, especially Jack.
The monkey's named Jack.
Especially Hyperion.
But especially Hyperion.
Especially Hyperion.
You can never trust a thing called Hyperion anywhere, can you?
You really can, it seems.
some kind of. Man, I almost forgot. I blocked this. I somehow this slipped my mind, but I just realized that technically Hyperion counts as one of many evil Supermen that I can add to the list of evil Supermen.
Wait, Atlas? Hold on, Atlas does?
No, Hyperion,
Oh,
the
Hyperion. That makes
character.
way more sense. Got my. All right,
Atlas,
memorized
the
fast.
the Titan.
Yeah, no, no,
The
no. Hyperion from DC. Yes, no. Yeah, he is. No, dude, you're right. Because my first exposure to him was in one of the Avengers cartoons, and I was just like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah,
so he's
yeah,
exactly evil Superman. Like he's just literally.
yeah.
His backstory is exactly the same. They're not even trying.
Yeah, they really not. But the thing I like about him is that like, well, I mean, it was mainly the setup of the cartoon where it's like, oh yeah, what really makes him evil is that he's very very petty, and he's like, oh, I'm just well, actually, I destroyed my planet because they didn't like me.
He's like
I'm like,
Claptrap.
well, there's your problem.
He's like Claptrap if Claptrap wasn't well intentioned and was genuinely trying to help people most of the time, but was also just really annoying while doing it.
I don't get your connection.
I don't.
Oh,
Like, if Claptrap
that
were malicious and had superpowers, he would be Hyperion as my connection. Because because you described him as
oh,
petty,
because he's petty.
which
Yeah.
also describes Claptrap. That's why I'm like,
Claptrap is weird because I understand like how important or how like signature he is to like the to Borderlands, but I feel like he's just a little like what's the word? Like he's he's supposed to. I feel like his character is supposed to be a nice balance between annoying and like endearing, but I think he hits annoying too often.
I think. Okay, so I was actually watching a video that
Like
talked
a
about,
theory on that.
not a theory, but a video that was just a breakdown of Claptrap's character and his role in the series. And the way he
Hmm.
describes Claptrap as is like the way he explained him is that he's a sympathetic character that you don't have to feel bad for. He's sympathetic in the fact that he's the last of his kind and that he means well and that he needs friends and just wants to help people.
Yeah,
But you
he's the
don't
last of his
have
kind.
to
He's kind of like Superman.
He's kind of like Superman, but you don't have to feel bad for him because he also has a major ego that gets way too bloated if he's doing too well at helping people and makes him annoying and more of a hindrance. And like
Ah,
a lot of
yeah.
time when he tries to help people, he ends up making them worse up. Like there's a whole segment of missions, and I think the Claptastic Voyage DLC, where like you have to take medicine to a church, but you end up burning the church down by accident, and it's just a lot of that happening.
Dying Light.
Yeah, so it's just a lot of that happening. So Claptrap has basically been set up as a character who you understand the well intentions of, but also understand that he's a complete asshole when he's too cocky, and that he messes up a
Uh,
lot, especially if he thinks he's
you're
doing
getting.
well. So like
The problem
that's
is you always get too big for your britches. I don't even
yeah.
wear britches. I can't wear britches. I
I'm
don't
a
have
box.
legs.
I'm a box. So Claptrap has this weird character
Oh
balance
yeah,
where, like, yes, he's sympathetic,
I get it
but
now.
you don't
Yeah.
like have to feel bad for him all the time. You can
Oh,
understand
one
where he
thing
comes
that
from while also
also
making
this
fun of
this
him.
bit about his character design, that he's basically this like upside down trapezoid on a monopod, so he looks like he could just fall over at any second,
He
and
does.
his body is like a steel box, which implies some level of durability, but also his limbs and his like legs, the pod thing, are just like a stick of metal. So you get the sense that like, oh, this character is not strong, but will probably manage to survive to the end of this game.
Yeah, yeah. Well, pre-sequel made him like a full-on Vault Hunter, and I want him to have his fighting abilities back, you know? Because in pre-sequel they were cool.
I
I
wonder what
played
his
some
various
Claptrap.
abilities in Borderlands 3 would be, because he'd have like multiples.
Well, yeah, because his whole thing with the because his skill in like the pre-sequel, well, he would have three different skill abilities, which would be
Yeah, that's what
amazing.
I was saying.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. My guess is that the third game would perfect his vaulthunter.exe to where you can be more selective with it. So my guess is that it would just be 3 different like Vault Hunter modes with like variations on the augments, the same way you have with like Moses' gun modes, how she has like a flamethrower in one of her skill trees. That would be my guess.
Wait, where are you? Oh, you're cleaning the tower, aren't you?
Yeah. But yeah, Claptrap was fun to play as, and it'd be cool if he could at least climb stairs again. Like, he even gives Veronica a stair climbing mechanism in the third game when you're, like, collecting dead Claptrap parts for him to make a new friend with. And she uses it immediately upon becoming alive after telling Claptrap how annoying he is and how she doesn't want to hang out with him. And then she just goes up the stairs to Moxie's bar and hangs out there with her stupid stair climbing wheel.
So what you're saying is maybe it's one of those like laws of not laws of robotics, but like a Star Wars laws of dumb robotics, where it's like, oh yeah, whenever coming up with an idea, robots will always put modifying themselves at like the bottom of that list.
Yeah.
At least like most of the time, and so they'll be like, here's a cool weapon. Here, you should use it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like, look, Claptrap, I'm sure there are enough Claptrap corpses for both you and Veronica to have stair climbing mechanisms in your wheels.
So yeah, this should be.
Like, you can. Like, there's so many. Look, man, I collected so many Claptrap parts. Don't you dare try to convince me that there's not another stair climbing mechanism out there for you.
Now, wasn't it that the Claptraps were made as part of like a takeover, or was that like a side effect or something?
No, the Claptrap units were made to just be like these weird service drone guys that were really annoying, but I think the weird annoying personality was like something that wasn't supposed to happen, but like it was a weird glitch that they couldn't work around, which I guess is
B1 battle droids.
Yeah, Jack didn't.
Oh no, we taught them to feel fear and confusion.
Yeah, basically they were all just really annoying service bots, and that's why Jack killed all of them. He didn't kill the Claptraps because they were a threat or anything. He just really, really hated them. Like, the pre-sequel starts with some generic Claptrap unit, like, doing the normal Borderlands intro thing, like in every game, but then he gets shot, like, in the intro, and Jack's like, did that Claptrap just die? That's awesome! And then if you're playing Claptrap, who's the frag trap in the pre-sequel, they'll be like, it's like, he refers to himself as something frag trap, a bunch of whatevers, but in his annoying voice, and he's just like, this is the worst day ever. Why did I bring a Claptrap to be a Vault Hunter?
Well, by all accounts, it doesn't make any sense.
By all accounts, it doesn't make any sense. It's just really funny.
It would have been funny if there was like a misdirect on that one urban planet where you end up finding a regular bank vault. Or like that's like one of the ways to get where you're going, where it's like, oh, we have to go through this building, and it's like a bank, and there's a bunch of like bank protecting robots, because of course there are, and then like you open up the vault and it's like, I always wanted to be a vault hunter, and they're like, but then in the back of but then if you blow open like a hole in the back of the vault, it's the next building is where you're actually going. It's behind the bank.
Okay, listen, hear me out. I haven't actually played any of the Thief games, but like Thief in Borderlands, that's what he would do. He would rob a vault and he would make a joke about being a vault hunter.
I'm a vault hunter. I'm looking for the best places I can vault over things.
Just vaulting over barricades. Like you're, I don't know,
it's
47, I guess.
I feel like there's probably an Ubisoft employee out there that feels a disturbance in the force every time I say, man, I wish there was another Watch Dogs. Like, I played Watch Dogs 2, and it's like, I wish there was another one. And they're like, we made one. We made that game. It was called Watch Dogs Legion. Where were you when it came out? And it's like, well, everyone was kind of between things during that year, and I don't know. It just like wasn't the right time or something. I don't know.
So
I do, ever since like Days Gone though, I worry that there's going to be a game that's like solid gold that I just don't know about because like it didn't have that much advertisement and then like had a lukewarm reception when it came out.
Days Gone was so good, dude. It is 9/11. We've been. We can stop streaming now.
You probably stop around now.
We don't have
I'm
to,
thinking
but
we should, before we wrap things up, we should see if we can find any gnomes.
Oh yeah, let's.
Because there's usually one around here somewhere.
Where's the gnomes?
So this here is a fire tower, if I recall correctly. It's what firefighters practice.
I just instinctively tried to melee the ball, forgetting that there's no fighting
Melee system in this
There's
game.
no melee. Why would there be a melee system in this game?
I need to counter its hunter pounce with perfect timing. Me like, oh man, I love countering hunters. It's so cool when you like hit them and it's like it's such precise timing. And then someone out there who like knows about like fighting games. It's like, that's like several frames of the game where you can counter it. It's actually very generous. Jack.
What's up?
Look at me on top of the stairs here. You see me?
Yeah.
Alright. 0 fall damage!
What kind of Borderlands world is this?
It would be funny if they added a power washer that was like very wide and didn't have alternate nozzles, but it did fire you backwards so you could use it to jump around.
Yeah. There is fall damage in the first Borderlands game.
Yeah, we figured that out through science.
Game is that you really have to try to like obtain injuries from falling, which is really funny because they just got rid of it after that. There was just no.
Yeah, so Lujack and I, I mean, he'd probably played the various of the games, but I was introduced to the games with Borderlands 3, which has a lot of polish and such. And he was mentioning fall damage. So when we eventually got around to playing the original Borderlands 1, like we got it down. We actually like did the science, and the reason why it's easy to forget that Borderlands 1 had fall damage, like he was saying, like it has to be a particularly high point. Like you have to be like basically like it's not like Minecraft. It's more like you'd have to fall from like this height where we're standing.
To injure yourself by falling, like the only way to get fall damage.
Not only that,
see if it's possible.
But here's the thing: it's not only that, but also the scaling is fairly what's the word? Charitable, where if you are up high, if you are just high enough to actually receive fall damage, it's possible that it did like a little tiny bit of damage and you didn't notice it because you were in the middle of a firefight, and so it's easy to like just miss that you got damaged.
Yeah, also that.
But we did test it, and it is possible for you to die from fall damage. But like there aren't that many places in the game that are actually high enough to kill you.
Yeah,
you get that Ezio syndrome where you become so good at avoiding dying by falls that it's actually kind of annoying.
Yeah, Borderlands 1 really set a precedent of we don't want our players to experience fall damage, and then after that they were like, we're just not gonna have it in any game after because we didn't want it in the first place.
And then like stuff like Apex Legends was like, look, you have a little jet thing, and it's just enough explanation to be like, yes, this is how you avoid fall damage. It doesn't help you jump up that much higher unless you're doing like a double jump. And it can help you stick to walls by jetting sideways. But yes, you can fall from any height and not take fall damage.
Yeah, and Apex is the only one it makes sense for because they're the only ones with little jet thingies that don't necessarily make them fly.
Well, Apex Legends and Titanfall, yeah. Which like, but I had a moment where I was talking to Bobby because he's been playing Fortnite, and he was saying that Fortnite has fall damage. I'm like, how does Fortnite have fall damage? You guys are falling from so much higher and catching fire on your way down. I must have missed there's the physics in that with Fortnite. It's actually like it's like a weird double negative where instead of being like, oh, here's why you don't take fall damage, it's more like, oh, you don't take fall damage this way, but you can take fall damage like as soon as you're off the bus. It's kind of like Pirates of the Caribbean rules. Like we all know that the world is a sphere, but as soon as you're on the ocean, like bets are off. Like you can just fall off the edge. Who knows? The ocean's weird.
Yeah, the ocean's weird. Don't worry about it.
I love that. I love that media analysis where it's like, yeah, that's the thing. The ocean is magic in Pirates of the Caribbean. Like people know that the Earth is a sphere and you can travel around it as a sphere, but also like as soon as you're actually on the ocean, like the ocean might decide that it's not a sphere anymore.
Yeah, the ocean might be like.
Yeah, and it blew my mind because because of the description where it's like when you really think about it, Pirates of the Caribbean was one of the few bits of media, well, especially in like movie form, that really managed to get just the medium amount, just the right amount of like realism, where it's like, oh, flintlocks are deadly. Being hit with an axe can kill you. The Spanish and the English empires and stuff are exist and they're here and present and making laws. But like as soon as you step onto a boat, like all bets are off. Like that's really tricky to balance. And there's never a point where you're like, well, there's never a point where you're like, well, why doesn't the British just try to, I don't know, get the power of the sea? It's like, well, because they just exist in like sort of separate planes. There's like certain like rules that it all follows.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of neat. And I'm recently getting into more like modern urban fantasy stuff, so that's fascinating.
Yeah, it is. Hey, did we ever find the gnome? We never found the gnome.
Well, I don't think there's a gnome in the fire tower, but I figured that from the top of the fire tower we'd be able to see any gnomes if there are any.
Let's look for a gnome.
I figure there's probably... I'm going to get really close to my screen. If we can't see one from up here, there's probably one across the street at this mall. I wonder if anyone's like documented like all the gnome locations. Known. It'd be GKN, like known gnome locations. Oh wow, I can. Did they move the invisible wall? Because I feel like I can go further. Gnome Ansland. Yeah, I don't see any gnomes.
Hey, look, it's the
This
diner.
is vacant Spellbound Mystery Motel.
Taylor, it's the diner that all the companion characters from Fallout 5 hang out at.
And this is the diner where all the companion characters go when you're not watching them.
When you're not watching them.
Man, shout out to whoever specifically programmed that into Far Cry 5. Like, I've said it like a zillion times before. Far Cry 5 had really solid mechanics and a really dumb plot. It really was carried by some of its character moments and mostly by how satisfying its like stealth mechanics were. But like the concept that like when you switch out to an ally, they don't just disappear. They will despawn outside of your field of view. But if you get into their car as a passenger, you can just stay in there and they will drive all the way across the map to a diner, like to a
diner, and
where they all. It's even better though because that's where they all hang out. They are all there. All the allies that you have made are there, and I love that. And it breaks my heart that there's no scene associated with that. Like it's more of an Easter egg, but like that's the kind of thing that I would want in a game with that many allies. Is a moment in like the third act where it's like, yeah, and then all the guys show up. And there'd be a cutscene where everybody's gearing up at the diner, having a slice of pizza because someone figured out how to get the oven working.
Yeah, and you'd have that one raccoon guy who's like, look at us standing in a circle like a bunch of jackasses, and then you'd have like a
look at us, there's a bunch of cards.
And then you got like a weird Drax guy who like accidentally calls his friend a whore because he doesn't know that that's like a horrible thing to say sometimes.
But
green whore.
Shout out to anyone who got my dang it! Shout out to anyone who got my control reference.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah, we got the food market, the diner, and this vacant Spellbound Mystery Motel.
Oh, is that the oldest house? Is the oldest house the Mystery Motel?
No, it's
Oh
no. The
no,
oldest house is connected to
oh
the Seaview Motel, but it's actually part of the fun of the
wait,
Take
so
Control song is that they actually mention the motel.
wait,
They
so
actually say this vacant, spellbound mystery motel, which I'm like, man, it's neat that you put that in the song because you'd never be able to use that phrase elsewhere. It wouldn't make any
what
sense.
if the motel is actually a separate building that somehow is occupying the same space as the old house? Oh wait, hang on. Speaking of weird magical locations that exist, hang on, I need to look this up because I heard this, but I need to
All
fact
right.
check it real quick. Give me a minute. Uh, hold on. I need to look up the voice actor for this guy. And it is Aaron Hansen. So, speaking of magical locations that move around and don't follow the laws of space and time, the Lodge from the Lovecraft world in Borderlands 3 DLC. The
Can you
Lodge
hear me?
that. Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Sorry, I my laptop just turned off like completely.
Oh, that's weird.
The power on the house is on, and
Okay.
my battery
Well, we're
is at
wrapping up.
100.
That
So
is very strange.
not sure.
Are you?
Hold on, let me
Wait. Are you in the
bring up
games?
Discord.
Are you in the game still?
I am not. I have to reconnect. Let me
Okay.
restore my pages.
Well, we're about to wrap up right now anyway, but I wanted to talk about Mancubus Bloodtooth from Borderlands before we did that. Because one, he's voiced by Aaron Hansen, which is great because I realized that at some point in an echolog, Mancubus Bloodtooth doesn't realize how old he's supposed to look. So if you have an
All right. I said
echolog,
I was switching over. I can't hear you while I'm moving my headset.
oh, right,
Right.
sorry.
Are you saying something about Doom?
Don't no. Um, what was I saying? Mancubus Bloodtooth from the Lovecraft world of I can't remember what it's called, but Mancubus Bloodtooth from the Lovecraft world and the Borderlands DLC is a lodge, right? Mancubus Bloodtooth, he has a lodge. It's in the world where everybody
Oh
forgets
yeah, yeah, the
everything because
lodge.
everyone's cursed so that they forget what they're doing and who they are, and like they just have constant short-term memory loss all the time because of a weird dead vault monster. It's a whole thing.
Oh
But
yeah, so it's like
basically, yeah,
yeah.
yes, it's like what were you gonna say?
I think the term is like a Gehenna situation, where like people just kind of forget where they are or why they're there or even who they are.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Kind of a spooky.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, like the lodge is a sort of place that Mancubus Bloodtooth is the proprietor of, and like the weird person doing the curse magic,
Hmm.
they can't go inside of the lodge. And while Mancubus Bloodtooth is cursed as well, he's like aware of the curse and knows how to cure it. But like nobody likes Mancubus Bloodtooth because he's this creepy guy who's like, I am Mancubus Bloodtooth and I'm definitely not a serial killer. But like he's really not, but everyone thinks he is. But he's also voiced by Aaron Hansen, which is really funny because they have a bit where they pretend to be
I straight
aliens who
up
are
didn't
pretending.
know that.
I didn't know that either. But the Game Grumps do a bit where they are like aliens pretending to be humans, and they're like, "Oh yes, this music feels very good to my human ears. I enjoyed it with my human face." So
Where did you put the ladder? Like the regular ladder? I
I
need to
don't know.
use the reg. Oh, it's upstairs, isn't it?
I don't
Oh,
know.
there it is.
Oh,
Click and grab it with my
it's in a bit.
telekinesis.
Oh, nice. But they had a bit like that with Mancubus Bloodtooth, where he was trying to figure out how old he's supposed to look. So he's talking about the lodge, and he's like, "The lodge has been around for a long time, and I have also existed for a long time. Not too long, though, by human standards. Yes, I am a perfectly average person for an average human." And then he pauses for a second. Is just like 20, and like he does not look 20. Like you're the worst looking 20-year-old I've ever seen. And it's just it's that like I am my human
What
face moment,
is
but
there
like
part
as a
of
mortal.
is there like a secret part of an Aaron Hansen, like a contract with Aaron Hansen voice acting where he's not allowed to tell anyone that he's doing it? Like, oh, we can't accidentally make this thing more popular by mentioning that you're on this project.
I don't know, man. I wonder if he ever talked about it in any of his like videos because I have missed a
Because
lot
the
of
same
game
thing with the Owl
grumps.
House, where it's like, oh yeah, I played the one monkey guy in Owl House.
Oh yeah, you're like,
It's like
wait,
one episode.
really? You did? But yeah,
maybe two.
yeah. But I just love that he like does the alien bit, but like as someone who's supposed to not be immortal. So instead of being like, yes, my human face, he's like, yes, average human of 20.
Oh man,
It's very good.
we're in an era. You know, it's funny. We I feel like we haven't quite reached the societal level where YouTubers are just like fully making their own projects like from the get go.
Yeah.
But like, I am glad that we're past the era where I am at least glad that we're past the era where YouTubers were like trying to break out into Hollywood, but we're just like that wasn't actually what they were good at.
Yeah.
And that's the funny thing is that like because you can't be an extra as a YouTuber because people will be like, hey, wait a minute.
Well, I mean, you could be, and it would just be a funny Easter egg, and people would probably not get
Dude,
as
that would be
mad.
funny. Now that I think about, I mean, okay, hold on, I'm coming back around. It would be funny if that was like, if like that was part of especially if that was like part of the joke, where it's just like I have no idea who these people are, but like, but they're presumably popular YouTubers, but like they're just like extras.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be funny. Alright, we should wrap up here, though.
Yeah, okay. We've goofed enough here.
Yes, yes, yes. I'm gonna
Oh,
see
and
you
speaking
first.
of Control, by the way, they're gonna make an Alan Wake 2. So,
Oh, sweet.
yeah, Remedy's working on Alan Wake 2, and I really hope that that's a good 2 and not a number 2.
Oh, sorry.
Because
Yeah.
on one hand, you know, anything is
What are you doing?
possible, and on the other hand, Outlast 2 like was just not very good, and I don't know why.
Man, Last of Us 2 is weird, because, like,
Outlast 2.
That's what I meant. Last of Us 2 is a very good game. Is Last of Us 2 what I said?
I'd say it's a spiritual successor to its own game. So yeah.
That's just
I
called
can't
a
get I can't
sequel.
get into all that right now, but I would say that as far as like overall quality, I think it follows up on the first game.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
But
Outlast 2 is
no,
baffling to me.
Outlast is weird because like the first one, I watched the Team 4-Star Krillin guy do it in his Krillin voice, and it was weird. And this game was
Is that how
engaging.
you imagine it?
No, no, no. Well, I mean, it's how I'd imagine it if I was playing it, because that'd probably be how I played it too. I'd just be
No,
screaming
as in
like,
like whenever you
"Ah!"
think of like Outlast, you just think
Oh
of the
yeah,
Krillin
anytime I
voice in the
think of
background.
yeah, the main protagonist of Outlast is just abridged Krillin to me because he's just like ah!
Yeah.
Anytime something goes wrong, I just hear him screaming like
Here's the
Krillin.
thing. Here's what fascinates me
Wait, hold on. I was
about
getting to a
Krillin
point.
plays.
I was getting to a
Okay,
point
sorry.
because the first game kept me engaged, and then I tried to watch Markiplier play the second game, and it wasn't that it wasn't interesting. It wasn't even that it didn't have an interesting start. It was just that it didn't hook me somehow. Not
Yeah,
because
and
I thought it was bad, but I watched one episode and then I never came back to it.
that's the thing though is that I don't think it has a strong like it doesn't have that strong of a through line. It's not necessarily all like put together and connected, and it's a little weird.
Yeah, but what were you gonna say?
That the thing that fascinates me. Oh man, we're just gonna keep talking because the thing that fascinates me about Krillin Let's Plays is that if anything, they fascinate me in that I know that Lenny Pator himself, if his and this is like old knowledge, but if I know one thing about Lenny is that he's not really easily scared. If anything, he can remain pretty like just stone faced while playing games that should be at least mildly spooky.
See, here's the thing.
And as a kid, I remember thinking like, "Oh, this guy is untouchable," because he was playing like the Slender games and just not reacting to anything. Like, yes, all right. Oh, I guess this thing will try to kill me. Well, we'll see.
Okay.
Um,
But listen, if I saw Lanny Pator doing the Krillin impressions but with a stone face, it would be so much funnier because it would just be loud screaming and exclamations not matching his facial expression at all.
No, hold on. I'm getting to that. So, which means that when he does a Krillin Let's Play, he isn't just doing the voice acting. He's also like getting into character by like like letting himself get scared. Like think about that. Like if it was Lenny just playing, just straight up playing like Outlast 2, he would probably just be goofing around and being like, "Ah, yes, that's so." Basically, it would be me when I started playing one of the Resident Evil games, where I'm just like, "Huh, I wonder if there's any jump scares in this shack." Oh, there are. And then me doing the Artyom. This is where we stored the jump scares during the war.
Okay, but I played a bit of the 7th one and it was legit scary.
It had some scary moments, but what I mean is that Lenny would just be kind of like joking about it, whereas in his Krillin character, he
like,
gets scared,
yeah.
and I'm pretty sure that that's done live, which means that like he gets himself like he gets himself to be scared when he normally wouldn't be, and that is acting.
That is quality acting.
If you're not scared by video games, then why is Krillin so scared? And then it's just the Giancarlo Esposito gif where he just goes acting.
Acting. But yes.
Oh wow, how is this working? Okay, well,
76% clean.
we went extra long because we got a little distracted,
We
and
did.
I love talking about videos, games, and YouTubes, and seeing people in movies and being like, "I know who you are."
Xylorgos! That was the planet.
The what?
Xylorgos is the Lovecraft world in Borderlands.
Oh yeah, it has just a very Lovecraftian sounding name.
Yes, it's Xylorgos, and like the Titan that's there is called Githian, which I love as like a Titan name. Githian. The Vault Monster.
And we will speak more on next time we record, which could be probably tomorrow.
Probably. I think we're supposed to start doing a new game, but I guess you'll see what that is tomorrow. Shh, don't ruin it.
So, if we're lucky, then we'll be playing a new game. We also have this game as backup, and Phoenix Wright, which I would like to get back to.
Taylor.
Because there's bits of Phoenix Wright that I still haven't seen. I've never seen.
Wait, hold on. Yes, also same, and we're gonna get to that on, I think that's Saturday.
Are you trying to see what would happen if you picked up the...
No, I'm trying to get to the top because it'll be extra dramatic if I'm at the top. Hold on. Okay,
right.
we are going. We have listen, my partner in cleaning. We have done a lot of jobs. We have done a lot of great things. Now we are going to our toughest mission yet. We are going to power wash the moon.
Where is the moon right now?
Right there. Or is that the moon or the sun? That's probably the sun. We are going to power wash the sun. Okay, that's all. That was my girl impression. Bye. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you so much for watching our stream. I've been Lou Jack, not Taylor. What?
I've been Taylor.
And
I'm reminding you.
That is Taylor. To take care.
To stay awesome.
A beautiful day and drink.
And don't get distracted on your stream.
And drink.
Bye.
And also drink water. Water is very important. Okay, now bye.